Welcome to this week's Wind Down Wednesday, or as we're going to call it today, Let's Get Turnt Thursday, with Coach Avery, live at Country Heritage Winery's downtown Fort Wayne location. Today, I've got Coach Avery, joined by Fort Wayne FC defender Tiago Dias and midfielder Tavio D'almeida. Oh, D'almeida. Ooh, that's good. Welcome, guys. Appreciate y'all coming out today.
Thank you.
First of all, let's get started. I know what's on everybody's minds and what people want to know and talk about is congratulations, Coach and team, on the 2023 Valley Division Championship win. You've made the club, the owners group, the city proud of all of you guys, and we really appreciate all of your hard work and you guys being here and dedicating your summer to this. This is really huge. We appreciate it. This group has really come together and proved what Fort Wayne FC soccer is all about. And in the third season, Mike, we've done it already, so I know there's more to come. But when you were standing out on that field at that moment, looking up at that scoreboard, what were you thinking? What was going through your head? We did it. What was happening?
Yeah, I mean, you're excited, obviously, and proud of the team and understanding how much work goes into it behind the scenes from you, from all the people that work for us, the ownership group, the volunteers, and our incredible supporters that come out. So there's a lot of people that you're thinking about because I know that they all work very, very hard. But in the moment, I don't get too excited about an accomplishment because we still have stuff to do. I think that's the biggest thing with the team is that we've been trying so hard, probably to the point where they're tired of hearing me talk about it, but we're always on to the next thing. And, we clinched the playoff berth relatively early in the season. We won the title relatively early in the season. There's some teams that still have 3 or 4 games left in the league. So we're in a really good spot. It gives us time to maybe decompress a little bit, not decompress, but maybe focus on preparing for the playoffs, and we've got a couple weeks now to do it. So we know what our future looks like in a couple weeks, and we can then manage the games that we have upcoming and spread some minutes out to make sure that we have a deeper group that's ready to go. So there's a lot going on, but it certainly was a fun night. Really, really impressed with these guys and what they've done for us this summer and how quickly they've come together. And I still think that we have more to do in terms of how well we can play. I think we've done all right, but I think there's other levels in this team.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Now we know we've clinched the playoff berth with that first place, and we have 3 others behind us that could move into the second position, and those are the Cleveland Forest, Toledo Villa, and Kingshammer SC. Mike, if you had to guess at this point, who do you think will get through?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't know what you guys think about who would be, like if you're just looking at the quality of the teams, it's pretty even, I think, the groups. I think Cleveland's got the best road to it because they're in the lead and they only have 1 more game to play, and it's against Toledo. So if they win that one against Toledo, and I believe, I can't remember if it's in Toledo or Cleveland, so I don't want to say that, but if they're able to take points from Toledo in that last game, that's a big swing right at the end. So I would think they would have the best shot at it. But again, I think all 3 are good teams. They're pretty even. I don't know. What would you think? Who would you think out of those 3 get through?
My guess will be Cleveland as well. I think he's a more annoying team to play against. So.
In a good way, right?
Yeah.
They were on top of you guys.
Yeah,
they played a defensive game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think, Tavio?
Yeah, I would say Cleveland as well. Me, Toledo got good individualities, but I would say as a team, Cleveland is better.
Yeah. So we'll see. Again, I think any one of them would be a good team to take with us into the playoff and represent our league in the next level. And it should be exciting. The last week could be exciting for a lot of teams.
And Mike, we know from a scheduling aspect of doing this that our season, typically around July 15th, is when your season ends for the league. And to think that those teams have that many games left to play in less than a week, that's a lot on their plates. So maybe we did a good job with scheduling this year.
Yeah. And we have, we have exhibitions that we've added in to give us some games as we build into the playoffs. So it's actually worked out really well for us. Even this week, we play a Tuesday night in Cincinnati game and then a Thursday home exhibition, which is really compressed schedule. But when you look forward into the playoffs, the first game's on a Friday and the second game's on a Sunday. So it does do that real quick, two games in 3 days kind of schedule. So it's actually worked out quite well for us because we can at least mentally prepare for this is what it's going to feel like to go Tuesday night and then boom, right back at it on Thursday night.
Right, because our schedule's been pretty evenly dispersed, it seems like, throughout the
Yeah.
season, to where we weren't doing that bam, 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 but exactly. So that leads me to, I want to mention, we have the playoff bid in. I'm anxiously awaiting for the call. As soon as we get it, you guys are the first to know.
Yeah.
The first to know. So there's definitely going to be another party, probably, hopefully. We'll let everybody know about that as soon as we get that announcement and get that promoted and see what happens with that. So Tiago, let's get started with you here, hon. You've been a strong defender for Fort Wayne FC this season. I've seen a little bit of your personality on the field and have gotten to know you a little bit better, but tell our fans more about yourself, how you got to Fort Wayne FC. What do you think of this team coming into this? How did you get here with Coach Avery, and just kind of lead us through that?
So, I'm Tiago. I'm from Portugal. I played all my academy in Portugal until under 19 in the Portimonense Sporting Club. I came to America in 2020. I went to junior college. I was coached by Keelan there. Was a hard time. My English was not that good, so was a hard time.
Sorry, Keelan.
And I ended up there 2 years, and my first summer playing was last year. I played for Cal Valley FC, and I ended up playing in playoffs. And I was supposed to go back to Coffeyville, and I ended up signed for a D1 school in Albany, and I ended up here now this summer.
Yeah. So we tried to get him last summer, and it didn't quite work out with the timing. And Keelan obviously coached him, so knows him well. I actually visited Coffeyville during that one season that he was playing there, which was an experience. That's a whole other show. We'll talk about my visit to Coffeyville sometime. But we got a chance to watch him play. Obviously, we knew that he was a very good player. The connection to Albany, in some ways, I was a little bit responsible for that connection as well, because I recommended him to Albany when they were looking for a player a little bit late in the process. So I'm glad that worked out, and now to have him here, he's been a tremendous addition for our team.
Definitely. So you have a lot of connections with college coaches and all over these
Sure.
other coaches, so that
Yeah.
always helps these guys.
Yeah.
So Tavio, I'm going to ask you the same thing. You've seen a lot of action on the field in the midfield section. First of all, tell me about how you got here and your trip to Fort Wayne, your journey. But then I want to know what your favorite game has been so far.
So, first question. So, hello guys, I'm Tavio. So I'm French. I was born in Paris. I was in the academy of Auxerre. So it was one of the top 5, I would say, academy back in the day anyway in France. So, and then after that, so I did all my classes over there. Then when I turned 18, I moved in Cardiff, where I signed pro over there. So for 3 years. So it's been some up and down, obviously. It was good. I was happy. I made my first pro game, against a big team, against Brighton. So I was very happy. Obviously, it didn't work out as I wished. So I had a tough season, a tough year. So I would say this year. So this season wasn't like the best, I would say, for me. But I had a friend who's in here in USA. So this is how I got here in Fort Wayne, who knows Keelan, Coach Keelan. So we made everything, and I think the coach can say the same thing, because I think in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, everything was like signed, ready to I was ready like for coming, so everything was quick, so it was good. And honestly, it's a big opportunity for me, like to show myself to people, like show what I can bring to the team, because I know what I can bring to the team. But and obviously, like new culture, new people, like it's different. I like to travel. I'm someone who like to travel, so I'm really happy to be here and with all you guys, like people, like for Fort Wayne, like just make me very comfortable.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So a couple things with Tavio's journey here. Obviously, he's 18 years old and signs in Cardiff in the championship. I mean, that's a big move. And then, COVID and all of the things that happened during that time. And so, to have him kind of bouncing back and landing with us is our great benefit. And, maybe in some ways a typical story for guys that are trying to make it to the top level is it's never a straight line. It's a journey, and you've got to be committed, and you've got to bet on yourself sometimes and go try things that other people aren't willing to try and do. And it's funny because there's an agent, which is a friend of his that's like a placement player. We get all these agents that work with us, and sent Keelan a video of Tavio, and Keelan forwarded it to me, and literally 30 seconds later I said, yes, get him signed up. And so then we just got to work, and then Tavio and I had numerous calls and Zoom calls and FaceTime calls or whatever medium that we were using, and you could tell right away we were going to fit. So we're happy that it worked out, and excited for both these guys' future, because they're both young guys. You're 22 now?
22, yeah.
And you're 22?
22, yeah.
22, so they're two young guys with a huge future in front of them.
So did you guys even know where Fort Wayne, Indiana was?
Yeah, like obviously when I knew I had the opportunity, I did my research, near Indianapolis, so that's good now.
Good. Did you?
I ended up knowing after search.
Yeah.
After search.
Now you know a lot more about Fort Wayne than you maybe ever wanted to.
I will say that from Coffeyville, he's in the big city now.
This is
So
a
yeah,
paradise.
this is a big
paradise
city. Nothing against Coffeyville; it's a nice little town, but it's a little town. Yeah.
So each of you, it brings me back to the question: what's been your favorite match so far?
I would say without hesitation, the last game. Like from me personally and as a team, I think we dominated the game. Like from the first to 90 minutes, like we just control the tempo. We make them run. Like I was happy. Like the way we played, just trust each other. And this is something we spoke out with the coach, at the beginning of the season, even before that, the way we want to play, the way we coach want to play, and I think was the best game. I think Tiago can say the same thing, like defensively, offensively, with the ball, without it, we just like keep talking to each other. No, I think Toledo, was for the moment. Hopefully, more games will come, gonna be even better. But yeah, for the moment, Toledo was one of the best.
What do you think?
For me, I think was against Toledo, but the first game.
King's Hammer?
No, the first game against Toledo.
In Toledo.
The first one. Oh, when it was
In
that hailing?
In Toledo, I think was the best game with the ball we had, and we ended up getting a red card in the beginning of the second half, and the way we fought to manage that game, I think was a team,
Yeah,
So
we learned a lot about ourselves on that day, because the game, if I remember, we played at their place and we had all the ball. And we were up 2-0. It could have been 6-0, right, in the first half. And then we had a silly second yellow card come, and then now we're 50 minutes to go and down a man. And then the game got hard, and we had to suffer a little bit. We had to fight a little bit, and we were able to pull that off and hold on to a win. And I thought that was a good, both of them I think were great examples. So it was a good moment of the team really coming together.
Yeah.
If you're going to win in a season, a championship, or 9 wins, 2 draws, 0 losses right now. It's an incredible run that we've been on. You've got to win a lot of different ways. And sometimes it's beautiful soccer that wins it. Sometimes it's just tough and rugged and fight. And we've won a lot of different ways this year. And so I think those are good lessons for us.
And also from a goal differential standpoint, there's a lot of 4-0s in there.
Yeah.
A lot, if you go through there and see. So.
Yeah, the last few weeks, obviously the month of June was good for us, but we've gotten goals early, and then open teams up, and it takes kind of some of the sting out of the games. And so I actually am really excited for the coming week, because I think we've got some opponents this week. The team out of Northern Indiana, which is a lot of players from the University of Notre Dame, from Bethel, guys that played with the South Bend Lions last year. That was a good opponent for us. I think it'll be one of the more talented USL 2 level teams that we would play against, even though they're not a USL 2 team. but college age players from top universities from the region. So I think they'll be a talented group to play against. We play on the road to Cincinnati, and they're fighting for their postseason life. So that'll be a hard game. When our kind of fate is already settled, no matter what happens in the score, we've got to play a team that's motivated and fight. And then we've got some markers that we're trying to hit still. And how fun would it be to go through a season unbeaten? You know, maybe we haven't given up a goal in the last, I can't remember. I think it was Toledo, the first time we played them, is the last goal we've given up.
Yeah, it was the last goal.
Yeah, and so that's like 7 straight games or 8 straight games without giving away a goal. How fun would it be to continue that streak? You know what I mean? There's things that we're still trying to hit. And then more importantly, just I want to win a game because it's a game and we're playing it. And we try and win everything. We try and win in training. We try and win as a culture. That's just what we're trying to do. And then you play the professional team at the end of the week with Atlante. And so that's going to be a different challenge and a different way that they play. And we're going to have to probably defend in some ways that we haven't had to yet, and be, concentrated in our defending for long stretches of the game because they'll be able to keep it. So again, I think that it's an exciting time for the group right now, in what could be a hard time to stay engaged because you've got 2 weeks before you play the next real game. But I think we have enough in front of us to keep us interested.
I know both of you live in the States when you're off season, but how does Fort Wayne compare to there then? And I mean, you're away from your friends that you have there, your family, girlfriends, significant others, whatever, host families. How has Fort Wayne FC embraced that, and how do you guys feel about living here with us and what you've seen so far and experienced?
Go on.
So Fort Wayne has been a little bit hard for me. I've been a lot of time now far from my family, but with the boys, all the team staff, we make it feel like a family. So was very well welcome, and I'm loving being here. And the fans, when we go to the game, we know we're gonna have the fans there. That's a big support, and I think that's it.
And they love your accents. I'm just telling you, they'll say stuff to me. They do. It's like,
The accent is funny.
What do you think, Tavio?
For me, to be honest, now I get used to live by myself, so it's not like a big deal, but obviously it's tough because I got my family away, family, friends, so obviously. But like Tiago said, honestly, we're just a good bunch of guys, just having fun all the time, on the pitch, outside the pitch. So now, to be fair, for me, it's not a big deal. And obviously, winning games, you just make everything, way easy, we're winning game, we're playing good. That's perfect. And for the fans,
it's great
we
to
enjoy together.
My favorite part of it all is just this part, the coming together. I love the soccer and I love the winning and I love all that stuff too, but just I learned from these guys probably more than they learned from me, and just about cultures and different ideas and different ways to look at the world. And the three of us just drove here from the apartment and had a conversation about what's going on in Paris right now and how that relates to what's going on in Chicago right now, and then politics in the US and there and perceptions of it. And it's just so interesting when you get a chance to hang out with people. Where else do I get to go and sit with a guy from Paris and a guy from Portugal and have a glass of wine and talk stuff? You know what I mean? It's just a wonderful way to bring people together. And I think it's one of the beautiful things of the game is that it brings people together. It's one of the beautiful things in our club is that we get to bring people together. And it's almost in some ways an example to our larger community of how people can come together and interact. And so there's a lot that I think we're accomplishing on and off the field for ourselves individually, but also in the bigger picture.
I agree. And I think that, I know in talking to some of the season ticket holders and the supporters group, we're the big melting pot. And a lot of the other sport teams in town aren't like that as we are. It's just based on the sports, but they know soccer, it's such a universal sport, it's global. You're going to get men from all over, the world. And that's what we love about it, because we learn just as much from you guys as you learn from us and get from us. So
for sure.
It's really, it's awesome.
Yeah. My French is
Oh,
Magnifique.
French fry.
Yeah. My
Magnifique.
Portuguese not so good, but we're working on that too.
Yeah, I don't know any
Portuguese
Portuguese.
is harder though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
We
know
all
that
speak
one.
Spanglish in the team. There's a little bit of a Spanglish thing going.
Spanish,
Yeah.
English.
I have to
Yeah.
ask you guys, what do you think about the TikToks? You guys
The
are
TikToks?
superstars in those. I love them.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah,
I said-
thank you.
Those are the boys.
Yeah.
They can run that. It's
I
fabulous.
have not and will not be participating in the TikToks.
You were in one. You were a rock star.
Oh yeah, but I have not seen. I don't know how to get TikTok on my phone, and I'm happy with that. So I'm good with that. So I'm
They are doing
Yeah.
an A+.
I've heard
job.
that, and I'm happy for them. So
I laugh every time I see something different. I laugh
yeah,
because now that we know these boys, their personalities, it's like, oh my gosh.
yeah.
You know, so they got John Nagel involved last week, which I thought was cool, and they're getting everybody else involved. So it's cool to see everybody come together.
Good.
So I guess, guys, this week on our mind then is finding out about playoffs and getting geared up for Saturday,
Yeah.
and then the international match. Well, King's Hammer in between then, actually.
Yeah.
Anything else that you guys want to add? I know our fans really, like I said, they really enjoy coming out and seeing Fort Wayne FC soccer. And this is a new venue for us, which you guys probably already know. But it's more this year than just about the venue. It's about what Mike has created here with you guys and what we're all creating together for the sport and, you know, to grow the sport in Fort Wayne. And, you know, DeMarcus being a part of that as well.
Yeah.
But
I will say that was really touching after the game the other night is that, you know, we're celebrating and the guys are throwing bees in the air and trying to throw me in the air. I think they got tired throwing bees in the air, and that's why they couldn't throw
He
me
was
quite
so
as
lightweight.
high. But when I was walking over to do the media stuff, there was a number of people, a line of people that are fans of mine that I've not met before, the fans of the team, and they waited very patiently. And they've all, you know, they said, we've been since day one. We've come to the very first year. We've come to every game, and we just want to and like that kind of enthusiasm for what we're trying to do is really cool, and it's unique.
It is.
You know, I think we've got a really special thing going here.
We do. We do. And we have great media support in town.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they just will wait patiently and be fabulous. They're great people.
Yeah.
So I want to thank you guys for all you're doing and for coming to Fort Wayne FC and for being a part of this group with Mike and for believing in what we really push as our vision and everything. You guys have really embraced it, and we appreciate that because you guys are the epitome of what we want Fort Wayne F soccer
Yeah.
to be about.
Yeah.
So, Mike,
Yeah.
get rested up. You got playoffs coming.
All right. What in Portugal? What would we say?
Yeah. What's the end?
So
Salud.
Oh,
And in
that's
France?
my favorite.
Santé.
Santé.
Oh,
Santé.
Santé. Santé.
But
Salud.
we need to watch, you know, in the eyes like that.
Yeah, that's right. You got to see. You got to look in their eyes. You got to
There
make
you
sure. That's
Oh.
right. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Yeah.
That's it for this week's Wind Down Wednesday with Coach Avery. I want to thank the coach, Tiago and Tavio, for joining us today, and a reminder for everyone to come out to Bishop Darcy Stadium this Saturday, July 8th at 7 p.m. to watch Fort Wayne FC host Northern Indiana FC and be watching for updates on the playoffs. Thanks so much.